This is the Public Safety Building Committee meeting for April 12th, 2017, 9 a.m., Town Hall, Main Street in Raleigh. I'll call the meeting to order and just make a note that the police chief and the fire chief are unable to attend due to other commitments. Greg Corral we have on the phone. He's going to be on the speakerphone. He's stuck in traffic, hasn't moved in quite a while on 495. So rather than cancel the meeting or delay it for an hour or two, we're going to move forward, and he's going to be on the speakerphone. And with that, I'll call for an update on the project. You want to give us that, Greg?
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, one second. We are being recorded and filmed digitally, so just so everybody's aware. It'll be on television at some point. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Okay. We're starting with the site issues, civil engineering. We do have the survey that came in. Our civil engineer and the geotechnical people are going to be out on the site tomorrow to do test holes. And I believe our geotech is planning on doing borings, but we're certainly doing test holes to confirm the location and the characteristics of the septic system. We had a little trouble getting that sorted out. There's dig safe and what have you to make it happen, but it's happening tomorrow morning. With respect to the site plan itself, we have a site layout put together. One thing we noticed when we got the survey in, the property line wasn't exactly where we thought it was, and the addition to the police station is over the setback line along Haverhill Street. And I spoke with Debbie about this. It looks like we're going to have to apply for a variance for that setback. We're about 14 feet over the line.
Okay.
Okay.
Now what's the time? What would the timeline be for that? Is it something we got to do right away, or is it something?
Well, as soon as we get the site plan finalized, which is kind of related to getting this testing done tomorrow, I'll have our civil engineer, Bill Murray, who you met, start putting the paperwork together for that, and I'm sure he'll be reaching out to Debbie and the related authorities in Raleigh to put that process in place.
Now, is that something we also have to look at, being in the well field area too? Does that come into play here also? We're on the edge of that, I know.
I don't think so. No, not as far as a variance is concerned, but I'd have to ask Bill about that.
All right, just check on that so we don't get caught short, because there were some issues in years past about water board being a problem. So,
Do we know?
I'm writing that down.
Do we know what the schedule of meetings are for the planning board?
They typically meet twice a month on Wednesday evenings.
Okay.
we need the planning and the ZBA, or both, or one of them?
The ZBA is for the zone of the well, and the setback is the planning board.
Or the setbacks of planning?
Okay, setback is planning board? All right.
I need to check that, but I'm pretty sure it will have to go to the planning board.
Okay.
All right, we'll check on that then to make sure, just so we're well aware of what's going on.
Okay.
Greg, you mentioned the HVAC,
Right.
or because I was talking to the chief last week, and he said that the consultant who came in and looked at the old system had some concerns about its compatibility with the new system, and did you have any update on that or any indication of what's going on there?
Yes. The existing HVAC system is, to a great degree, antiquated. We need to address two major components of it. One is the cooling for the dispatch area, which we kind of knew about, that we're going to have to deal with. And I guess the police department regularly gets dinged for improper ventilation in the cells. So that's another piece of it that we're going to have to deal with. The extent to which we're going to have to change things, basically isolating a couple of zones, and we may or may not need to replace the main unit. That's something that we're going over with the engineers now. But there's going to be some surgery on that system. As it turns out, that system was originally designed by our mechanical engineer's father. It was a family business, and he did it years and years ago. So they have the drawings, and they're familiar with what was done. So we have kind of a leg up on what was actually installed.
Well, that's good news, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're not surprised that it's antiquated, but
Yeah. So we're going to be doing some work on that. Hopefully, it doesn't get too extensive. As far as the main system for both buildings, the proposal for the system is going to be what's called a multi-zone mini-split system. And this is I think I mentioned to you at the last meeting, we were looking at something called a variable refrigerant flow system, which is you have individual cooling and heating in each room that's tied back to a condenser, and it operates the entire building, and everything is coordinated together within this system. I think Neil can speak to this as well. It's a very good system, but it's a very, very complicated system, which means that maintaining it, tweaking it out after it's been installed, and operating it in general is a highly specialized thing and can be a real headache. This system we're proposing is taking that building-wide system and dividing it into smaller components, smaller zones throughout the building, which makes it much more simple. And our engineers have had a real good track record with what this is. It gives you basically the same kind of control, the same kind of economy, but without the high-tech investment that you have to make in running it. It's also about 40% cheaper to install. It's a much less sophisticated high-tech system. So that's what we're proposing. That's the direction that we're taking on that.
Greg, again, what is that called? A multi-split system?
Multi-zone.
A multi-zone mini-split.
Multi-zones mini-split?
Yep.
Okay.
so Greg, what you're saying then is you talked about the first system, but we're going to do the second system. Is that what I'm?
Well, it's the system that we're proposing is kind of it's how do I put this? It's kind of the baby brother of the system that I talked about the last time I was there. It's not the overall system. It does basically the same thing, and actually, from an efficiency point of view and a comfort point of view, it's either equal to or better. But it's taking the concept of the original system and dividing it into smaller components that are independently manageable. And when these systems first came out, it was Mitsubishi that invented them, and it was all the rage, and everybody was trying to do it, but everybody was complaining about the complexity. So as an outgrowth of this, I shouldn't say baby brother, but it was as an outgrowth of this, people started looking at different ways of applying the system, and by componentizing and zoning it, made it, solve a lot of the problems without sacrificing the advantages. So it's effectively the same thing I was talking about last week, except simpler and better.
All right, just before Neil probably wants to say something, are we, correct me if I'm wrong, are we proposing two separate systems, or is this all operating off of one system for both buildings?
Right now, if we can reutilize they're looking at maybe just extending the full system throughout.
All right, so is that, but we're still looking at a separate system for the fire department, right?
Correct. Oh, yeah, it's going to be the system I just described to you.
Okay, so you're looking at the same system for both?
So it's,
Both buildings,
so
right.
it's two separate systems, but of similar design. Is that right, Greg?
For fire and police?
Yes.
Well, it's a separate building. It'll certainly be a separate system.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're...
And then
it's-
within the police department, there's gonna be an existing system which may or may not need to be updated. And in addition to that, the addition will be supported by the multi-zone mini-split.
At this juncture, if it turns out to be more economical to make it all one, he's just going to extend into the existing police station as well. I'm trying to avoid completely rebuilding that system.
Right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, without being engineers, we're depending on you, Neil, to work with him and make sure we come up with, because the other thing is we want a system that will be economically feasible moving ahead. In other words, we don't want to get,
Right.
typically, maintenance monies and stuff like that, we cut corners on, not that we should, but we
So
do. So we
so-
want something that's gonna run and be dependable without having huge maintenance costs, if that's possible.
Right. So,
Yeah, the
Go ahead.
operational costs, I can get you some figures on that exactly. In general terms, it's regarded as a very efficient, economical system to operate, and it's very simple as far as maintenance is concerned. What you're basically doing with these systems is you're pumping refrigerant around the building. There's very little duct work, very few. There's no hot and cold water lines. It's just a few valves and a few small pumps that make all this happen. So there are very few moving parts, if you will. So even on the more sophisticated or the more elaborate systems that are harder to adjust and so forth, maintenance on themselves is comparatively low as compared to other systems because there's just not that much to them.
filter changes, Greg, are at each unit, or are they at each terminal unit, if you will?
Say that again, Neil?
Filters?
Filters would be part of an internal ventilation system. And those would be at the terminals. Those would be basically in the ceiling.
And it would be, as opposed to a VAV system or a centralized air system, there's a filter in every room, as I understand it. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
What happens is you're augmenting. You have, if you will, you have a sort of a separate system where you need fresh air. You have a small ducted system that's bringing in tempered fresh air as you need it. The actual heating and cooling is more of a recirculation of the air in each space. And every single room has a cassette, they call it, it's mounted in the ceiling that will provide cooling and heating for those respective rooms. That's the system we're really talking about. And each three of those cassettes is attached to, or three or so, is attached to a small condensing unit. A briefcase-sized condensing unit.
And the condensers are outside?
Usually, yeah. They're on pad.
Okay.
We have no flat roofs, so they have to be.
Yeah.
Neil, are you satisfied then? We'll get more detail later, I'm sure, but
Yeah, I think, I'm assuming this design firm has some experience in this type of system, and if we can get maybe some references that we can call
Sure.
and sort of double check with some facilities guys on annual maintenance expectations and whatnot, I think that would be helpful for the town.
Okay. I'll have our engineer send you a narrative of this as well for your file, and give you the references. They said they've done a half dozen of these things, not too distant past, and they've been very successful. So
Okay,
I'm sure we can get you the reference.
okay, that would be helpful.
Okay.
So moving on, and if there's nothing else on the HVAC, that'll be a gas, the heating, everything's, it's all gonna be gas, right? I'm assuming that's what the
Yeah.
police department has now?
Yes.
All right, in terms of building design, have we finalized all the design, so you're working on bid drawings, or what is the status of the design at this point?
The answer is yes, we finalized all design issues, and we are preparing documents, construction documents as we speak. We're probably about halfway through.
Now, one of the things I think we talked about the last meeting, and that was like a month ago, was you were going to take a look at costs to give us an estimate of if are we in the ballpark, or how does that stand in terms of the money we have versus what the estimated cost might be for construction and so on?
Okay. I'll be honest, I haven't updated the estimate based on the new documents, and I will do that. I'll do that this week. Intuitively, nothing has changed from I shouldn't say nothing, but the scope of what we're doing hasn't changed. Nothing that either the fire chief or the police chief have done have expanded the scope of this thing. We haven't been asked to do anything additional that we didn't know about going in. So, in terms of the scope, it really hasn't changed at all. I should check myself on that. We are doing a little more work in the detention area of the police station to make sure that it's up to current standards. But most of that stuff is fairly minor. It's just suicide proofing the cells, that sort of thing. And as I mentioned before, the ventilation issue that we have.
Okay, good. Then on the general site plan itself, we had discussed on the fire department side and the entrance to the ball fields area. There was going to be a redesign, or at least a look at redesigning of some of those parking spaces to take away a little bit less space from the back parking area. Was that anything on that?
That's been done, and Bill Murray and Chief Roderick have huddled on that and have come to a mutually acceptable strategy for handling that driveway and the parking.
Okay, now, the last plan we saw was the access to the playground area behind the police station was going to be down by the ball field, the major league ball field. And we were looking to have a cut through. The original plan was to cut through right in back of the police and fire parking. Is that anything been addressed there? I mean, I'm as I've expressed before, I'm very concerned about overall parking up there and maximizing the amount of space we have for the athletic fields, because that is an ongoing problem.
Yeah, the engineer is looking at maximizing the parking back there. We're looking at pervious paving, if you will. Not doing to maintain site drainage.
Right.
And he's laying out that parking now. I know that we talked about having an access from deeper within the site for utility stuff, basically a gate that would allow access for maintenance and what have you to those fields.
Okay, are you still there?
Greg, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay, so as long as that's being worked on, then it's just something that our next meeting, I would like to see as much information as you or your cohorts can provide, just so as we go into this final design point, we are well aware And we also need to take a look at anything that the town might need to do some work up there around those boulders to increase the amount of parking there. So it's it's not part of your project or this project, but it's related because one definitely affects the other.
Yep, yep.
Greg, when you said you were gonna update the estimate, are we preparing documents and sending them to an estimator at 60% completion? Or?
We are.
Okay. And
We are.
could we plan, next time we sit with the committee, to do a page turn on those documents?
Yes,
I think that would be helpful.
yep.
All right, I guess that leaves us, Joe, you have anything that you want, any questions or anything?
I don't.
Debbie?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, so then in terms of the timeline here, how are we looking?
We're still targeting, I believe we're looking at June bid.
Okay, the bid takes what, 30
About
days?
4 weeks.
Yeah, anyway. 4 to 5 weeks.
So,
Greg, you think documents are gonna be ready in June?
That's our target. That's our target. It depends. Right now, the big question is site, because we're just getting final site information from the borings tomorrow. So that's kind of the slow boat in the carboy right now.
Yeah.
But it'll be pivotal on that. If we're targeting June. I'm hoping it doesn't shift into July, but it might.
Okay.
all right, then it's 4 to 5 weeks bid time, is that?
It's usually a minimum of 3 weeks for the filed sub-trades, and then depending on how they come in and how much legwork we have to do in the interim, it's usually a week or two between the sub-trades and opening of the general bids. So we like to set the expectation that it'll likely be close to 5 weeks.
Close to 5.
So we're kind of looking at late September or October before we break ground,
Under contract even.
or even under contract, however the process works. Yeah, because once we get,
The contract will be, and actually that's something that I need to get for you guys. I will send you the front end of the specification that has the general conditions and the supplementary general conditions. Much of that is pretty standard language, but there are things the town needs to edit, particularly with respect to insurance requirements and any specific legal requirements the town may have with respect to the contractor. So I'll send you a draft of that, because when we issue the documents, the contract for construction will be part of that. So you're not going to have to, and that's again the contract as well. So you'll be able to, the contractor, once you award the bid, can sign that document because he already has it and it's already been vetted, and start the project.
Hi, Greg, it's Debbie. It's very important that if you do have the draft of these, and I know much of that's the standard language, I still have to work with the town council on that, and the insurance company, if we're talking about builder's risk insurance and things like that. So, and we need some time, this is a busy time with town meetings and things like that, so I need to get that into the town council sooner rather than later. Are we looking at mid-June or end of June for a bid release?
I will send you that draft this coming week. Actually, I can probably get it done before the weekend. I'll send you the draft of that front end.
Okay, I just want to get it into the town council, see he's got enough time to look at it. I always have the insurance company look at it too, for insurance requirements. And then at some point, I think that Chairman Peterson and Chairman Perry are going to want to discuss this with the full Board of Selectmen prior to the release too. So I just need to schedule that for one of their meetings in June.
Okay. Okay.
Greg, can we also get the temporary facilities? Section 1500?
What is that?
Can we also get the general, temporary facilities, 1500?
1500, please.
Temporary facilities for the job site. Trailers,
Oh, yeah.
please.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I thought you were talking about, that, there was that whole discussion with Chief Dumas about a temporary trailer for the police station.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that in just a minute, once we're done with, all of this.
Okay.
So we're looking probably late June, maybe early July would be a reasonable, bid release date.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're headed.
Okay, so maybe next meeting you can give us an update on that, so we,
What I'll do is I'll put this all, I'll give you some hard copy on this.
right, okay.
You know, we've been kind of running around getting all this stuff underway, but I need to set some, my team has dates, and I want to pull those dates together to make sure that I can give it to you in a comprehensive form.
Okay, no, that sounds good.
I'll deal with that.
Okay.
So is there anything else you have, Greg, on the building project itself, and then we'll discuss the temporary trailers for the police?
I think that's it for now. And I've got my to-do list here.
Okay, anybody else, any questions, Joe, or concerns, Debbie, Neil? Anything
No,
else you have?
I think if we're heading towards a late June or early July date, I think it's critical, Greg, to get the most updated set of plans, mechanical, electrical, the whole 9 yards in front of the committee, and let them look at it and view it. You know, I would think we should probably bring the building inspector into the discussion, with the zoning board and the planning board and approvals and site plan approvals and whatnot. You know, every builder and their brother will be trying to get in front of these committees for summer projects. So I just want to make sure that we're staying ahead of the curve and getting on their agendas in a timely manner.
Okay. I think that's prudent. I think it's a good idea to get the inspectors involved.
Okay, I'll leave it at that there. Then, in terms of the police department trailers, Chief Dumas, I talked to him the other day about that also, and he did, I'll read a letter, or an email that he sent Tuesday, April 11th, from Chief Dumas for Debbie Egan and the committee here. Just a reminder, I won't be at the meeting. It doesn't sound like William Scotsman is going to do us any favors with regards to the building. I think I'd like to suffer for 12 to 18 months while the building is being built by squeezing into the original structure and save the money to put back in the building. I will work on a plan to move and/or store equipment and furniture. He's received 2 quotes from the 2 contractors to remove and connect the original PD and the trailers, one for $3,400, the other one for $3,675. He says he has no preference. The cheaper one is the one who actually built the addition, which would be William Scotsman. This does not include the need to hire an electrician and an IT person to disconnect the computers and electricity. We'll need to talk more about that. He's available by phone, but I don't think we need to contact him today, but it's just, he's willing to squeeze in, which will save quite a bit of money in terms of a temporary facility. And when I talked to him the other day in person, I was concerned that it's going to be a tough squeeze. And he seems to be he's a new chief, he's very efficient.
Not a short term either.
And it's going to be, I think we got a plan on 18 months. So I think with the next meeting, we need to bring this topic up again and then make a decision and at that time move forward on where we're going to go with his temporary facilities. And it may be that we have to find a spot somewhere for some of his equipment to be stored. I don't know how much equipment he's really got, but it's a big help if he can make this work without us getting obviously a big office trailer in there to keep their system going. And if you can do that, obviously we're very appreciative because it's going to save some money and that sort of thing. So, with that said, do you have anything else, Greg?
No, that's it. That's all I have right now.
Okay, you have nothing, Joe?
Nothing.
Debbie, Neil? Good. All right, we'll let you go then. Greg, thank you for calling in. Sorry you're stuck in traffic. Hopefully you can get back to your office or wherever you're going next without too much difficulty. And those things happen, that's for sure.
I am so sorry about this morning. But give myself 3 hours next time.
No, it worked out good. By doing it by phone, everything worked out fine. I think we really needed for this meeting an interim where we are, where we're going. And next meeting, we'll hopefully have the two chiefs here, and we can, if you have all the information that you just promised us, hopefully we'll be able to make a couple of decisions and go forward from there. So that sounds good. We'll let you go whenever you want to hang up.
When do you want to do the next meeting?
Oh yeah, that's right.
We can schedule up.
That would be helpful.
My suggestion would be after the town election,
Which
May
is,
9th.
Can we meet before then, maybe?
You want to meet before it?
second.
Greg, how much do you? How long do you figure you need to get the information that you've basically promised us?
Give me a couple, 3 weeks, and we'll be ready to go. Couple weeks.
So if we did the third, let's see, that's the town meeting's the.
Town meeting's the
May 1st.
first.
The
So you're
first.
talking about May 3rd?
May 3rd?
If it's just to get an update is really what we're looking at. I hate to
You got
I hate to put it off another week just in case unless we
Okay.
have to. Is May 3rd seem? I know it's tight for you, Debbie, with town meeting stuff.
No, that's fine. I think that we're gonna get some things in advance, though,
Right.
prior to that meeting.
Yeah, if you can send Debbie and Neil as much as you can ahead of time, Greg, that'd be great. Because Debbie will get it to Joe and I and the chiefs, anything we need to see. And if for the 3rd, like I said, our town meeting's the 1st. So it's a busy week for Debbie, but if we can just get everything together, especially because time is flying here by May, we've got to be making some decisions on some of these things.
Okay.
And we'll have an update from Peter, the cost estimator, by then as well?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, can I get a list of all the items, Greg, before you hang up, that we should be getting prior to this tentative date of May 3rd? So are we getting the cost estimation that we were gonna look at page by page? Not yet?
That will be the page turn will be the plans, site plan, floor plans, building plans, elevations, et cetera, electrical, HVAC, the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah, I'll,
So that won't be ready, that won't be ready for the 3rd then?
but, well, I'm gonna, on the 3rd, I'm going to bring progress. I'm gonna bring what we've got, to go through with you. And that'll be a snapshot of where we, the documents such as they are. We'll have, architectural, MEP stuff, site plan, and, I'll have a draft spec as well.
Structural? Structural, Greg?
Structural, we should. I'll have to talk to our structural guy, see where he is. But that's gonna follow the architectural, so yeah.
Okay.
So architecture plan, site plan, HVAC,
Yep.
structural, which is part of the architectural plan, okay. And you're gonna get me, prior to the meeting, the draft, general conditions of the bid documents?
Yeah. When I get back to the office, I'll put that together. I'll send that right out to you. I basically have it. I just have to edit some of it.
And then maybe an updated timeline?
Yes, absolutely. I'll do that as well.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so it'll be May 3rd at 9 a.m.?
Got it.
That's a Wednesday? Okay, sounds good.
Oh, is that, I'm sorry, is that let's, can we shift the day to, other than Wednesday, I have an ongoing conflict on Wednesday morning, so that Jennifer's good.
You want to shift it to what?
Can we do it either Tuesday or Thursday?
I prefer Thursday.
Thursday, we're trying to get ready for the selectmen's meeting.
Honestly, Greg, Tuesdays and Thursdays don't work. I could do a Tuesday starting in June, and I could do a Thursday in September. So those are not very good days for me. Generally speaking.
How about a Monday?
Yeah, I can do Mondays, I can do Fridays.
Monday, May 1st?
Monday, May 1st would be okay.
Can you make it May 1st?
It's a Monday?
I'd rather make it Friday if we could. I've got,
I'll get it, town
Can you do
meetings.
that with town meeting?
Yeah, I'll have everything. I work on Sunday.
How about Friday the 5th? Is that,
I'd rather do a Monday. We're trying to get ready. We're trying to catch up on a Friday to get ready for a Monday night selectmen's meeting. And we need the office to copy and get ready. I'd rather do it on Monday.
okay.
okay, Monday,
You're not available on Monday?
Or you want to just put it off until the following week then? I mean, if it's tough for everybody.
how about the following Monday?
On the 8th?
Monday,
Yeah.
May 8th? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right.
I mean, I'd rather make everybody comfortable in an extra couple of days. Plus, that gives you an extra couple of days to get things completed too, so. All right, so it'll be Monday, May 8th at 9 a.m.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Okay. Sounds good. That's all right? Yeah, is that all right with everybody? Okay, so we're all set Monday, May 8th at 9 a.m., Greg. That's good, thank you.
All right.
Thanks for you pulling over there and giving us your expertise on the phone.
Thanks for your patience.
Okay, no, we appreciate it, and we'll see you next on that Monday. As far as minutes goes, why don't we wait on minutes until the two chiefs are here, just in case they got on them for the March 15th minutes.
Okay.
Unless you guys want to.
That's okay with me.
Okay. So we set the next meeting date. Any other concerns or questions, or
No.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, Greg.